Hi everyone, I'm Terry, and this is the Yarnjoy podcast, episode number 50. Welcome. I have some finished objects, and I do have some whips, as always, and just a little chit-chat at the end. So let's get started. Okay, so for my finished objects, I have a corner-to-corner baby blanket that I showed you last week that I was working on, and this is part of the Cakewalk Cow that is being hosted by Ella of No Catchy Name and Mo of Unseen Strands, yeah. And this is what I came up with. So this is just a basic corner-to-corner, and I used 2 cakes of Premier Sweet Roll yarns or cakes, and it's in the colorway Spearmint Pop. I really liked how the striping came out. I just it's a little bit on the small side, but I just had the 2 cakes, and what I did is I started the corner to corner, and then I finished the 1 cake, and then when I got to the end of that cake, then I started decreasing to get the other half. And I did have a little bit left over. I was afraid I was going to be playing yarn chicken, but I didn't. I did have a little, just a little handful left over of yarn. But that's fine. Anyway, so like I said, it was kind of small. It turned out only to be about, just that part of it, the middle part. It was about 22, 23 inches, by 23 is a square. And so what I did is I had this blue, right here, this blue yarn. It's a number 4 weight, this Premier. And so I just had a number 4 worsted weight, this blue yarn in my scraps. And it's not exactly the same color blue is in there, but in the sweet roll, but I think it harmonizes good, fine. So what I did is I put a granny stitch border all the way around it, and then around the edge I just did like a shell border in white to finish it off. And so what I did to come up with the border is I went on YouTube here and I found a very good video, and I'll put a link in the description box below to the video, and it is by Jonna Martinez, and the name of the video is C2C Borders 3 Ways, I believe. And she shows 3 different borders that you can do to border a corner-to-corner blanket, and one of them was the granny stitch, and then there was another one, I believe one of the other ones was a V-stitch border, and then I can't remember what the other one was, but since these were like boy colors, I was wanting something that wasn't too girly looking, and so I just went with the basic granny stitch to border it, and that added a few more inches. It's still small. Let me show you one more time. It's still small, but it would be a nice size like for a car seat blanket or a preemie bank blanket as well. So that will go into my collection for my next Project Linus donation, I think. Anyway, it'll go to somebody that I hope that they'll like it. So okay, so let's see. So the next finished object I have is just the squares that I've been working on every week. This is the 365 Days of Granny Square project. Videos found on here on YouTube by Nadia of Yarn Utopia, and I will put a link below. And last week I left off on square number 181, and so I continued on. Now I did skip one, but when I get to it, that where it's in the place, then I'll say why. So anyway, this is number 182 right there, and then 183 was this one. 184, yeah, I'm looking at my notes. 184. And then 185 is this one. Okay, a little wonky, not blocked, but once I get the border around it, it'll straighten out. Okay, so that was up to 185. Now, when I got to 186, Nadia says in the beginning of her video that this square is, I don't have a picture of it at the moment, but it's number 186, and what it is there's a big blue well, she did red, white, and blue, patriotic for the states colors, and there's a big star right in the middle, and it's a blue star, and then it's got then she did white and then red around the border. And she measured it, and she said that it was going to be about 10.5 inches, and I'm trying to aim for 6-inch squares. And so instead of trying to size it down, I have gone from a J hook, which is what I've been using, down to an E hook. And that usually does the trick as far as getting them down far enough, but I just decided to keep that one separate and do it the full size of the hook, normal hook that I would use, and I'm just going to use that square or for something else, but I will do it. I just wanted to go ahead and complete 6 of the 6-inch squares to have another complete row for the blanket. So I will be doing that number 186 probably next week. I'll do it and then I'll show it to you. But I wanted to go ahead and continue on with the 6-inch size just to get this strip finished. Okay, so number 186 will be upcoming. So this is number 187 right here. And then number 188, I really like this one. I really like the colors that Nadia did in hers, but since I'm going with only the set of colors that I picked out for this blanket, this current blanket, I just used the colors that I had, but I like the way it turned out, but I think if I would have used a little bit different color, which I definitely will make this again because it's a really cute square. So anyway, without further ado, I'll show it to you. It is a peacock. It's supposed to be, I probably have it way up too close, sorry. It is a peacock feather square. And she did use a purple, blue, and then a green, but they were much a lighter, or not pastel, but lighter than what these are colors, and it just turned out so much better. I like the way this one turned out, but I'm definitely going to make this again, but use a different kind of color scheme there. Anyway, there's the peacock feather. I had never done this before, and when you first did this peacock feather part in the middle, let me, if you can see it real, if you can see it good, it reminded me of an avocado. I thought, well, if you wanted to make squares with avocados on it, you could just change the colors and you would definitely have an avocado. Anyway, you see where my mind was. I guess when I was making it, it was close to lunchtime, so anyway, there's the peacock feather square. Okay, so that leaves us at 188. Okay, so onward. That's the finished objects I have for this week. Now, for works in progress, I have, as always, the 365 blanket, or the 365 days of Granny Squares blanket. Okay, so these are the squares that I put together so far, including last week's 6 squares. So I do have now 4 rows of the squares. There you go. So I'll have 2 more rows to go, and then, which will be these squares I just did, these, and then 1 more row, which would be this upcoming week's set of squares, and then this blanket will be done. So in a couple weeks I'll have it done, and I'll get to pick out another group of colors, which is always fun to do. Okay, so let's see. So that's works in progress number 1. I'm looking down at my notes again. Okay, and then I also, if you've been following along with my videos, you saw that I've been taking part in the crochet along that Jada and Stitches is doing for this year, for 2018, and it's the calendar blanket. And I did this past Friday, she released the next installment, which would be May. This is May, yes. May's installment of the blanket, okay? And so, see, I'm doing pastel colors because the stitches are Victorian, kind of lacy type stitches. And so I picked out 4 colors, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, yes. Anyway, and so now that I'm repeating the green here, I'm repeating this again. So, here's my section for this month. These slant, I think she called it some sort of train something. I can't remember the name of the stitch that she called it, but it's just kind of this leaning chain 3 granny stitch type thing with double crochets. But it was real fun. It was a fun stitch, very easy to put together. I enjoyed it. I did, I think, one more extra repeat of the pattern, I think, to get a little bit of a height. I'm trying to do each section. This one's kind of small. If you stretch it out, it would make this size, I guess. But I'm trying to do at least 3 to 4 inches sections for each month. And so I did do one more repeat, I believe, to get a section that was about 3 inches. So anyway, there's my blanket for the month of this project, and you won't see this one again until she releases next month, which will be June's installment, and then I'll show you how I get along with that one. So there's that. And then works in progress number 3. Oh, okay, so works in progress number 3 is if you saw the tutorial that I posted this past weekend, that is the patriotic Latgan blanket pattern that I did a tutorial on. It is a pattern from Roberta Dooley, and she gave me permission to make a video showing how to do the blanket. And so I'll show you my progress. I got the first part of the tutorial filmed and released. I did it in both left-handed version and right-handed version. If you haven't watched it yet, then since I'm a left-handed crocheter, the right-handed version I had to flip the video in the editing, and you can definitely tell that I'm still new at doing tutorials because I referred to the printed pattern as far as following along with the printed pattern, which was fine in the left-handed version because you could read along with me as I pointed with my finger. But when I flipped it, of course, all the text on the paper when I show the pattern is backwards. And now it's not in part 1 because part 1 there is no crocheting. I'm just introducing the pattern and the supplies and that sort of stuff that you need. And so that one is same right or left. But from then on though, once I start doing the crocheting, when I show the pattern, it's backwards on the right, with the right-handed version. And so I need to remember, I will remember the next time I do a tutorial that I can't do it that way. I'll either have to figure out, I think my husband and I were talking about it, and we were thinking, well, if we did the picture in the picture thing, figure that out in the video editing, then maybe that part wouldn't be flipped and the words would be there, or just have something on the screen. I'm not sure, but I did give a link in the tutorial on where to find the pattern and for you to print it out yourself, and so that way you could read it the right way, not backwards. Anyway, hope that wasn't, that part of the video is not very distracting to you. So I'm still learning, but I think it's turning out great. So here is my version of the blanket. Okay, I'll put it up to me, and that way you can't see. I know you can see there's holes through it because it's the Granny Stitch blanket. Okay, but the the yarn that I'm using is Vanna's Choice, Lion Brand Vanna's Choice, and you have to pick 5 colors for the pattern to work correctly in this log cabin design. And I used Vanna's Choice with all of them, a white, a black, and then the red is cranberry, I think. Yeah, cranberry. And then I have 2 blues there. The brighter blue, darker blue here is electric blue, and the bottom one is light blue. Or no, sky blue, yes. Okay, so anyway, there's my blanket so far. I need to continue working on it, and when I get to the size that I want, I think in the pattern there's one more round, I think, of bars all the way around the project, and then that's it, because it's supposed to be like it's a lap gan, but as I explained in my pattern, I'm doing this for my nephew. It's going to be for a Christmas present, and I needed to I want to make it bigger because he's a teenager, old and very tall, and so I want to make it bigger so then it will be better for him. And so I'm going to continue on past the recommended and keep doing, because it's just repeating once you get the hang of the pattern. And then once I get to the point where I'm going to start with the border, then I will film that part as an additional tutorial to finish it up. So for those that are doing it along with me, I'll try to get quite a bit of this done this upcoming weekend to see if I can get this to the size that I needed. So anyway, stay tuned for that. And if you haven't watched the tutorial, go ahead, check it out and see what you think. But like I said, just be warned that the pattern is the print is backwards, but the crocheting part is right. Okay, so let's see. Next is, so that is a Christmas gift that I'm working on. And then I also started, because I ran out of yarn with one of my other works in progress, and so I hadn't went to get the yarn yet, and so I wanted to work on something. So I started another blanket. This episode seems to be heavy on the blankets this time. But I started this one, and this is also going to be a Christmas gift, and this is going to one of my nieces. And her mother told me that in her bedroom she has just like she told me about my nephew liked the patriotic red, white, and blue colors in his bedroom, that in my niece's bedroom, she likes shades of gray and baby pink. And so I was looking for a cake yarn that would work. And I almost went with the Lion Brand Mandala unicorn, because it is got pink and gray, but the pink is like really dark, kind of hot pink sections in it, and I just didn't think that would quite go with the color scheme that I think is in her bedroom. And so I've just kind of put something together myself. And so the yarn that I found, which would be the closest that I could come up with for what I was looking for, is, let me grab it right here, it's over here on the shelf. It is Lion Brand, the ice cream yarn, okay, and that is in the colorway Cookies and Cream. So it does have white and some gray, a dark gray and a lighter gray. And then so for the pink that I added to it, this is Bernat, let me see, yes, it's Bernat Baby Sport, and I think it's just in pink, but it's very light baby pink. Very big, see? It's big as my head. Anyway, so I got several of these, this size, and then I got this one big one to start me off with. And so this is the yarns that I'm using. I think that's a pretty good color combination, you think? Anyway, so the pattern I've been really excited about trying, and so I thought, oh, this will give me a excuse to do this pattern because I really think this is going to be a fun pattern to do, and I was right because it is fun. This is the Mo of Change pattern, and oh goodness, I didn't put down the name of the person. Let me see. It's Frank somebody. Let me see. Sorry, Frank, if you watch this. I don't think you will, but anyway. Oh, okay, it's Frank O'Randall is who it is. And it's a free, well, the first part is a free pattern by, in Ravelry. And then if you want to make it larger, he released a an addition, an add-on, I guess, to the blanket where you can continue on and making it larger. And so now that part is a paid for pattern part. But I went ahead and bought it because I don't think the free part, that part would be, I mean, it'd be a perfect size for a baby blanket. But since this is going to be for a young middle teenager, I wanted to make it bigger. So anyway, after all of that, I will show it to you. So here it is. That is the middle part so far. And I'm just kind of looking at the pattern and deciding where I wanted to start the color. I decided I didn't want this middle circle to be pink right there in the middle. And so I went with the grays first, and actually in the skein of yarn, it started with a white. So, that's how it worked. And then I changed to the pink, and then I went back to the gray. So I'm kind of building the design, I guess, as I go. But I'll show you the picture of it. Now he did it in Lion Brand Mandala in Gnome, and I have some Gnome. I don't know if you can see it, but it's way back there on that shelf. And I think I may do this one again and use the Gnome because the colorway just really sets the pattern off, I think. So here's the pattern. You can see that well. Very nice. Very, very, I don't know, it's just very lacy, and it's just very pretty and feminine looking, I think. And then now his addition, the one that will actually make it into a rectangle, is called Momo of Change. That thing's funny. Anyway, here, see, there it is. Going on, and I think a lot of this part that makes it into a rectangle is a lot of granny stitch type action going on there. But anyway, I really like it. I think it's going to turn out nice. I may not need to do the whole entire of this size because I think if I did, it's going to turn out quite large, and I don't think I need it quite that big. I need it larger than just the circle. But then I'll go on with the rectangle part until I feel like it's big enough. But anyway, I've been enjoying it, kind of building the colors and building the design as I go and try to figure out where to change color. I'm on the pink, and I'm going to go around on the pink another round, and then go back to the gray. Anyway, enjoying that. I'm having a good time working on it. Okay, and so and then I do have 5 works in progress this time because I started this one because I was out of yarn with the other one. And I just wanted to start something new. You know how that goes. It's like, oh, I want to start all the things. It's hard for me to rein it back and not want to keep starting things. So anyway, let's see. So works in progress number 5 is the Hippo that I've been working on. This is the amigurumi Hippo. This is Melman the Hippo by, let me see, Tartarumis is what it's listed on Ravelry. And it is a Spanish, the pattern is in Spanish, but you can get an English translation to it. And I showed it to you last week, I think. Yeah, here he is. You see him? It's kind of, there you go. Very cute. And I showed it to you last week, but I had said that I ran out of colors. I ran out of the gray color, and so I had to make a Joann's trip to go get the color because the yarn that I bought was a Joann's yarn. Originally, it's the Big Twist in the Sincerely in light gray, I think. And so last week I had the body and I had the head. And I do have his muzzle that definitely makes him look like a hippo. It's down in my bag though. But anyway, so, and then I have like little pieces. I have the ears done and the little nostrils that go on the muzzle. Just everything's in pieces right now. Anyway, last week I showed you that I had a foot done, but I had did the whole entire thing in gray, and then after I did it, I realized that I was supposed to do the bottom of it in white or a different color, and so I pulled that out after I went and got some more yarn. I did get another skein of it, and I pulled that out and redid it, and now he does have white under his foot. So I'm glad for that. It looks, I think it's going to set it off. It looks really cute. And then I'm working on the second arm. This is the arm. So I'm working on the second one. I'm up about so far. I need to finish it off, and then I'll have both arms done, and then I'll have to do both legs, and they have also the white. Now, the reason I missed the color change the last time was because in the pattern, like I said, it's originally in Spanish, and so when they did the English translation, it didn't specifically say, you know, do the first row in white, first 4 rows in white, and then change color into the gray again. It doesn't say that. There's a part that's kind of shaded on the side, and I didn't make the connection that the top part, which was first 4 rows, was not that shaded color, and then it started down and it was shaded, and I didn't make the connection that that was signifying the color change. So anyway, I fixed it. I mean, for me, you know, for my project, I changed it and put the white. And then the only thing I did is that before I made the color change on the foot from the white to the gray, I did the back loops only. I fastened off, because you do these in spirals. So I fastened off and then I connected with the gray, but I did it in the back loops only to make the transition up from the bottom of the foot up, and then after that it was all in the both. I did it regular with both in both loops, you know. Anyway, I think I have the little tail to do, the 2 legs, yeah, his little stubby tail, and that's it. And then I'll be putting him together. So I might have him done by this next week. We'll see. I really want to get the patriotic lapgan, get that enlarged to the size that I need, so then I can film the end of the tutorial with the border. So I'll see if I can. If not, he will be real close to being finished. Okay, so that's all my works in progress and my finished objects for this week. Let's see, what else? So upcoming, now that I'm finished with the calendar blanket installment from Jada and Stitches, now I'm going to start on the Christmas character blanket cowl that I've been hosting, and I'm going to be starting on the square for May for that blanket, which is the elf square, which will be, for me, it will be the center square of my blanket. And so I will be gathering the yarns together and getting that started this next week. So that's exciting. I'm anxious to get started on it. I think it's going to be a really cute square. So that's upcoming. And then, like I said, upcoming will be the end of the tutorial, the finishing up tutorial on the patriotic lapgan. So that's upcoming. And that's it, I think, as far as upcoming crochet things, I think, sort of. But I do want to say that, let's see, what else? Well, I'll leave that little personal note in just a minute. Let me go ahead and finish this yarny stuff. So the only other thing is, when I went to Joann's to get my gray yarn, they have a bin at Joann's, a very large bin that's got mill-in packages. I'm sure there's other people. I know Randy at Randy's Random Ramblings. Hi, Randy. She has got these before, and she was very fortunate to find some really pretty yarn in those bins before. All the other times that I've looked, the bins that I have in the store that's close to me are big chunky yarn. In fact, I did pick up some. This one, it was a blue, kind of denim-y blue colors. But it's such a large, chunky yarn, I haven't made anything with it. I just really don't like using chunky yarn too much. I've tried, and it seems like it just makes a very kind of a stiffer fabric. Maybe I probably wouldn't use a big enough hook, maybe, I don't know, but I just haven't really done anything with it yet. And I do have several skeins of it. I do have an idea, though. I think I want to make some sort of a tote or a basket. I saw one that looked like an owl that was really cute, that stood up pretty high, and just really cute, made with, I don't know if it's chunky yarn or it was made with several strands of yarn held together, which would symbolize or be equivalent to a chunky. But anyway, I think that's maybe what I'm going to do with these, or some of this anyway. But anyway, this time I looked in the bin and they had some smaller yarn. Let me get the bag here. Sorry for the crinkling. It comes in bags like this. It says Fashion Plus, mill ends, and there's about a pound, I think, a pound's worth of yarn that's in there. And let me pull this out. Okay. This is, I'm sure it's I have no idea what, I mean, I'm sure it's acrylic. It feels like it's acrylic, I think. It just says mixed fibers on there, so I'm not sure if it's acrylic or a cotton blend. Some of y'all may recognize the colorway. It's got greens and blue and white and yellow, and it's definitely a number 3 weight yarn, I believe. And the colorway is, I don't think it's a self-striping, because the color changes are really, you know, there's only like sections of about 3 inches or so, and then it changes. So I don't think it's going to be a self-striping. But you know what? I could be wrong though, because the green, when you get to the green, it's longer. It's got a longer colorway in some of it, so it might be some sort of a print. I'll have to kind of do some playing around with it and see if it comes up with some sort of a pattern or something. We'll see. But anyway, I thought it was pretty. I thought the colorway would be pretty for like a little boy, something, you know, for like a baby blanket or something. But anyway, I thought it was nice, and I don't know, I took a shine to the color, took a shine. Anyway, cute colorway. So I picked it up. It was $7.99, I think, for this. But I got an email. It's really good to get on their email list, because I got an email that said it was 6 months to my birthday, and so they sent me a 55% off coupon to use, and so I used it on this, and so instead of $7.99, I got it for like $3 something, whatever that calculates up to. So I thought that was fun. So I enjoyed that. I mean, I think this is going to be, I'll have to think of something pretty to make with it, or pretty, I guess pretty. Anyway, okay, so that's all the yarny things, I believe. I do want to say that this week is my husband and my wedding anniversary. We've been married for 31 years. He was my high school sweetheart, and I just want to tell him happy anniversary, and I'm just can't believe it's been 31 years. It doesn't seem like it's been 31 years. We actually dated quite a while before we got married, because I was only a freshman in high school, which is 9th grade, and he was a senior. And when we started dating, and so we had to get finished with school, and he went through college and everything, and so we dated 6.5 years, I think, something like that, before we got married. So actually I've been with him going steady for longer, like 37 years, I think, or no, Yes, 37 years, I think, this year. But marriage-wise, we've been married for 31 years this week. So I do have a picture, a wedding picture. I just wanted to pop that up and see how young we were. Can you see it? Anyway, that's us. So I just think that's a great accomplishment, I guess. Well, of course it is. Anyway, so happy anniversary to me and my husband. And then on another personal note, is today is our last day of school for our homeschooling year. And so we're all excited about that. School's out for summer. So I'm hoping that I will get lots of things done this summer with my channel and start some new things maybe. So please stay tuned. Okay, so that's it. Thank you so much to my subscribers, my new subscribers. I'm continuing to get new ones. I am, I believe, at 850 now, and so I have 150 more to go until I reach the 1,000 subscriber mark. So that's just outstanding. It's just so exciting, and I just really appreciate everybody subscribing to my channel. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. And please hit that thumbs up button on the bottom of the screen here, the like button if you like my videos, and that would get my videos out to more people and I can meet more people. And so thank you so much again though for everybody that has subscribed to me, and I just really appreciate it. Okay, so I think that's it. I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend, and I hope you get some rest or some crafting done, or just whatever it is that you enjoy doing on your downtime, you know. So anyway, I hope everybody has a great weekend, and you will see me next week on Thursday for next episode. This, like I said, was episode number 50, so this is kind of like my golden episode, right? Like the 50th anniversary. But anyway, it's been fun. I really enjoy making these videos. I can't believe this is episode 50. It doesn't seem like it. It's gone by so quick. It's not quite my 1 year YouTube anniversary, but it is getting very close. I believe in a couple of weeks it will be, so that's exciting. So until next week on Thursday, I'll say goodbye for now, and please come back and watch next week's episode. Talk to you later. Bye.